So Shaun, how many property deals have you got and what's your strategy?
Yeah, I've got over 90 properties now. I do two strategies within the social housing space. The first one is called supported accommodation. We basically house the homeless. And the second one is called temporary accommodation.
Wow, is that all like rent to rent deals or?
Or rent to rent deals, yeah.
Yeah, nice,
Yeah.
nice. And how long has it taken you to get to 90?
Actually, so I started the business just over 7 years ago, but 5 years ago, just after COVID, I actually started again. And that's when my social housing business, started. So it's been just over 5 years really, because I had to go backwards to come forwards again in that time. So yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster, man.
Yeah. But there's lots of tough times.
Oh, crazy. But you grow through what you go through.
Yeah.
And that's what I've realized over the time. It's like you need these struggles, you need these obstacles, you need these situations and challenges, because you'll become a better person. And it's crazy actually, because when I first started in business, I used to dream of having a business this size. But the reality is I didn't have the capacity within me. I didn't have the mindset. I didn't have the resilience. I didn't have the leadership skills to be able to manage a business of this size. So because I've grown through all the struggles I've been through, that's what's now enabled me to be able to run the business much more efficiently and be a better leader as well.
Yeah, that's great, man. So today I think we just really want to do a deep dive into your story. So it's been 7 years.
7 years. Yeah.
And what was you doing before you started your property business?
I sell cars. So I used to, I've always been in sales, roles. And sales roles, I actually love sales because it teaches a lot about business, a lot of transferable skills, and you can't run a business if you can't sell. Like, you need to be able to sell. And all the jobs I've ever had, because I didn't do too well in school, so I wasn't academically clever, but I was always great with people, and I always had ambition, and I always had a great attitude. And I think that's really three key components you need to be successful. Great attitude and just a willingness to want to be more and do more. And so when I was in my sales job, especially car sales, I used to have a very low basic, but you was able to earn a lot of commission. And what that did, it put me in a situation every single month where my back was against the wall and I had to deliver the results, or my bills wouldn't be able to get paid because my basic wage was less than the cost of my bills.
Yeah, where was you living at this time?
I was living in Wolverhampton at the time.
Wolverhampton,
yeah,
so right next to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And so you grew up in Wolverhampton?
Grew up in Wolverhampton, yeah.
What was your kind of upbringing like?
I had a great upbringing. My parents, they're entrepreneurs themselves, and when I was growing up, they were sort of figuring things out and trying to get their business off the ground as well. And it taught me a lot about resilience, seeing them constantly fail and pick themselves back up and have the resilience to keep going. That you don't realize, as a parent, what that does for your kids. They're seeing it day in and day out. And that's what I was able to see. I was able to see my parents go from the 9 to 5s to actually having the ambition and the idea of wanting to start a business and starting to grow it. It wasn't until I was, they've been in business for quite a number of years now, a couple of over 20 years. But it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually saw that their business really started to take off. It took them literally the best part of 15 years to actually become an overnight success. And I was able to see that resilience, and it taught me so much.
Yeah. So what kind of businesses were they into?
So my dad has a security company where he basically fits alarms, burglar alarms, CCTV, fire alarms, etc. And I actually worked with my dad as well. I used to do a lot of work experience with him, to go out with him. I used to see him putting in the shifts, man, putting in some serious work, some serious hours. And he wasn't scared of hard work. He just wasn't scared of it. He didn't moan. Things are really hard growing up as well, because obviously he was building the business. And when you're building a business, people think, oh, you must be rich now because you're an entrepreneur, you've got your own business, you're managing your own time. But it's true what they say, if you want to leave your 9 to 5, be prepared for the 5 to 9. And I was there with my parents, late nights in the office, there early. I'd be going out with my dad to jobs, I'd be sleeping, on sites, etc. And I was able to see it. And then 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago, he actually acquired a Jamaican food company.
Wow.
Which has been a game changer, and again, all the resilience and all the skills that he's been able to build over the last 20 years building his security business, he was able to take that and using transferable skills and the leadership skills to grow the business that he acquired. He's doing really well with that one.
Wow. So was you like working in his company as well?
Yeah. I was working in his company. I helped grow his food business as well because I was able to take my sales background. I've always been really good. I've never been good with my hands. So I've done a bit of engineering work for him. Just going out there, installing CCTV, burglar alarms. That was never me. It wasn't really me. I was always great at sales. I was always great at being in front of people. And so I worked for him for a little bit, and it taught me a lot. I was helping him grow his business and building like different routes with the food business as well, and going to different shops and cold calling. And cold calling, honestly, it teaches you a lot again about business, because you've got sales, which is what car sales, which I'll go into in a minute as well, because that was the next step of what I did after I left my dad's. But when I was working for my dad, I was doing a lot of cold calling. In fact, it was all cold calling. And that, for me, is the highest level of sales, because you got to think what cold calling is. Imagine I'm selling you a product. Number one, you don't know who I am. Number two, you don't know what this product is. And I've got to now convince you to buy this product. I've got to convince you to like me personally as well, and actually listen to me and give me the time of day, and convince you to actually buy this product that you wasn't even thinking about buying. He didn't even know what it was before I came. And that is the highest level of sales. Whereas, other sales jobs where, you get inbound leads where the lead is already warm, that's a lot easier, because all you're doing is like they're already half interested. You just need to direct them to the sale and direct them to the right product. So I was going out, and again, that was like so hard. It was really, really hard. But I enjoyed it.
And how did you go from, working, was it the Jamaican food business?
Yeah.
How did you go from that to getting into car sales? What was the transition?
Yeah, so basically, I always loved cars. I still love cars now, and I really wanted to start my own car business. That was my thing. I was like, I was still young when I was working with my dad. I didn't really understand what I actually wanted to do at the time, but I really wanted to start my own car business, and that was my dream at the time. But I didn't really understand exactly how I was going to do it. I didn't understand about the systems or the processes. So my theory was, why don't I go and work in a car dealership for a few years, understand exactly how it works, understand the systems and all the processes, build my leadership skills up, and then go and have my own car dealership one day. And that was the plan. So I left my dad in 2014.
What was that like? Did he kind of want you to stay?
Or yeah, 100%. He understands it now, but at the time he was gutted, because he was like, he didn't understand, why would I want to pursue my own dream when he's got a dream for me? And that's, as a parent, I get it, because I'd be the same with my son as well. He built this path, and he wanted me to sort of follow his path and follow his direction, but I wanted to create my own path. I had my own vision that I wanted to do, so I had to just stand on my own 2 feet. Yes, I could have took the easy route. That would have been so easy for me to just be under my dad's wing and say, look, he's got this business, this is going somewhere. But that wasn't my vision. I really wanted to create I'm a leader in my own right as well. And I had this vision of being able to have location freedom and have time freedom. That's what I've always wanted. Location freedom, time freedom. I want to be able to build something that I built from scratch and have the opportunity to have those two elements in my life that I didn't have at the time. So that's why I was in the pursuit of building something and seeing what I could do. And the truth is, any organization I've ever worked in, I've always felt like there's limits. I've always felt like I need to be the leader. I've always felt like that, because I felt like, okay, I've got this direction. I'm like, I want to be the decision maker. And that's just like my character, and that's just who I am. I'm very, very hardworking, extremely ambitious, and when I've got an idea and I've got a vision, I'll just go for it. And at the time, the vision was, I like cars. I just believe in myself that I can go and sell cars. Bearing in mind, I had no experience. I didn't have any experience. I just believed in myself that I could go and sell cars. And I had a conversation with my dad. At the time, he wasn't happy because he wanted, as I said, he wanted me to stay in the business and work in the family business, etc.
Probably wanted you to eventually take it over. And,
Yeah,
you know.
100%. And I was like, Dad, I need to do this. This is my vision. This is what I really want to do, and just need to do it. And it was like an itch that I just needed to scratch. I was like, look, if it doesn't work out, you know, you're always going to be here. Sure, come back, etc. That's what I did. So I went off in 2014, and I went to work at Ford. And honestly, it was the best decision. It really was the best decision, because when you're working in a family business, the issue is because it's your dad. It's your dad. So things, the level of professionalism, the level of training, the level of working in the corporate world is just different compared to me working at Ford. Now being in an environment where I can't be spoon-fed. There's no favoritism. There's no anything. If my son comes and works for me, of course he works with my son. So of course there's always going to be that level of I'm not going to sack my son. And that was always there with my dad. My dad would never have sacked me. You know, I didn't slack because it's not my character to slack. But if I slacked, yes, he would have had a good talking to me, but he wouldn't have sacked me. And I don't know what it is, but it's quite weird actually when I think about it, because a lot of people, they want comfort. And for me, I've never been a person that thrives in my comfort zone. I like to be outside of my comfort zone. And it's a bit weird, because it's like, and it's what I always teach my son actually as well. I'm like, look, this is the easy route. You don't want to go the easy route, because an easy route is going to be hard for you later. If you go the hard route now, your life becomes easier later. And that's the principles that I try and adapt in my son, and that's the principles that I adapted in myself. I'm like, look, I'm going to go this hard route now because this is going to build my character. But your business can't outgrow your personal identity. I need to build my character. I mean, in the end, I'm now going to have an easy life as a result. And that's exactly what happened. So I went to work at Ford, and honestly, I absolutely smashed it, really smashed it. I was making, I think it was like £10,000 basic.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which was
That is good, yeah.
It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
What, £10,000 basic per month?
No, per year.
Oh, there's me saying that's
I thought
good.
That's sarcastic.
No. I was thinking that's per month.
Yeah, no, per year. 10,000
okay.
basic per year.
Yeah, so we're looking less than £1,000 a month, basically.
Less than £1,000 a month. It was absolutely horrendous. But, you know, I was able to earn like £50,000 in commission for the year.
Okay.
So, you know, that was able to sort of balance it out.
So let's break that down a little bit then. So what was you walking away with per month, roughly?
Roughly, when I was at Ford, roughly around £3,500 after tax, which was back then, it was good. I was only like 20, 21, 22. Yeah. And, you know, I was able to buy my first house at the age of like 23. I think I was like 22, 23 when I bought my first house. And it felt nice. I was able to go on holidays. I was able to live a nice lifestyle, etc. But what it did, working in that corporate world where you wasn't spoon-fed, and honestly, like, it's very cutthroat working in car sales. You always felt like you're one step away from getting sacked. One bad move, one bad part exchange valuation, you miss something or whatever, you get sacked on the spot. Like, the amount of people that I saw come in and get sacked was crazy. And then the other thing as well was the amount of people that I saw that were doing well for a few months, that one bad month banged it out. Yeah. They don't mess about. So again, that was transferable skills in business, because business is cutthroat. Yeah. There is no second chances in business. Like, you just need to do the work. Don't give excuses. Don't have a victim mentality, and just get the result. And that's exactly what it was in car sales. So I worked at Ford for 2 to 3 years, learnt the ropes, and this is what I did, and this is what I'm still doing. This is what I still do now in business and in life. There was a guy that used to sit in front of me at Ford. He was the best. So guess what I did? Just shadowed him and looked at what he did, what was working well for him, and literally just copied him. It was that simple. Yeah. And that's a key thing about business that you can do as well. Just look at who is doing well in business, what traits, what character traits do you like from that person, and simply copy that person. Yeah. And he had a way of, he would make a customer feel so warm. So like, customer would come in, and he was a top sales guy at the time, until I came, obviously. He was top sales guy at the time, and I noticed that he would get a customer feeling very relaxed. The customer would feel like, I remember like someone left him a review before, and it's like, you know, the guy the customer said, "Oh, he makes me feel like I'm his best friend." And I thought, you know what, that's actually great. That's what sales is all about. It's about, the person needs to like you, the person needs to trust you, and he made the person feel like they're his best friend. And that's how he was able to get lots of sales. So I took that and I thought, okay, how can I implement that into my day? And that's what I started to do. I started to get very, very friendly with people. I started to understand the power of building rapport, which is crucial in business. It's crucial in sales. That's how I've literally built my whole portfolio. It's by, building sustainable relationships. I was able to do that. And then literally within like my second month, without selling any sort of without having any sort of previous knowledge or skills in the multi-trade, I was like second. Then I was first on the leaderboard, and then we were just building on that.
Yeah, because Shaun, a lot of people that might be watching, they might be in a sales role right now.
Yeah,
they might be working in car sales, and they might not be enjoying it. They might not be making a load of sales. A lot of people are stuck in a job what they really don't enjoy.
Yeah.
I also was working in a call center doing cold calling, so I know it was a similar kind of thing. But let's stay there for a sec. So you're in this job. Now, how did you go from working in car sales to now starting your property business? And what strategy did you start with? Because we're really trying to get the timeline here.
Yeah, good question. So from Ford, I then went to BMW, because I really liked BMWs. And you've got volume sales, which Ford was, and you've got prestige sales, which is what BMW came under. So I was like, do you know what? I'm sort of getting, again, I was at that point where I was sort of getting a bit bored working at Ford. It was almost becoming too easy. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people would think to themselves, a lot of people would be like, do you know what? This has become really easy for me. So now I'm going to stay here. Because I'm in my comfort zone, I'm getting the same amount. I'm making £3,500 a month, which was back then for me was a lot of money. And it's like people would stay there, but me, I think the opposite. I'm like, okay, this is becoming too easy now. I now feel like I want a bigger challenge. So let me go to sell, cars with a higher value, and essentially make it hard for myself and learn a new skill set.
Yeah, because Shaun, people get stuck in that comfort zone.
Oh, 100%.
And it's very easy to be done. I know a lot of people that I can think of, they've been in the same job for years. They're in that job, they're showing up, they get the stability, but you didn't go down that route. What was it in you that made you think, no, I'm not going to stay here?
Yeah. I always think to myself that I'm just not operating at my capacity. I've always had this self-belief in myself that I can do more and I can be more. And I can achieve bigger things and I can help more people. And I don't know why I have that belief system, but I've always have had that. And it is crazy because considering I didn't do well in school and considering the school system made me feel like I was a failure, it's crazy that I still was able to believe in myself and still think, you know what, I can achieve things. I've still got a life where, I will become successful at some point.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I had that belief system.
Yeah, because I think probably some people, they want to do that.
Yeah.
They want to start the business, but they just something's holding them back. But I guess for you just kind of went for it.
Yeah.
What was the process? Let's look at what happened now. So you're working in the car sales, you're in BMW.
Yeah.
How did you go from there to starting the actual business?
So it all started in 2018 when I went on a big family holiday. And I went to Miami. And I think that was maybe like the first or second time I went to Miami, but this time I had a bit of money behind me. So I was able to actually, when you go on holiday and you're actually able to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, we've all been on holiday when we're broke.
Yeah,
this is the worst thing.
It's the worst thing.
You go there, you got like $1,000 in your account or less. I've been on holiday before, I had like £500.
Trust
me.
me.
I was just, by the end of it, I was just broke.
Yeah, and you come back and you're literally on nothing.
Yeah.
And so I went to Miami, I think it was a couple of years before that, but then I was quite broke. And I was a bit like, I don't really want to spend the money. And the issue is as well, when I was working in the motor trade, because I had such a low basic, I didn't want to overstretch myself. So even the months when I was doing well, I always had this like thing of I don't really want to spend the money because what happens if next month I don't sell any cars? What happens if the motor trade changes and the marketplace changes, etc. And I now can't sell any cars. So I used to have that at the back of my mind, which used to prevent me from being able to actually enjoy my hard work. And so anyway, I went to Miami in Florida, and We went on this like Caribbean cruise, 2018, and honestly, we had the time of our lives, man. It was so good. And I don't know what it was, but I came back and I sat at my desk at BMW, and I literally remember like it was yesterday. I was sitting at my desk, and it was like, I remember it was like 2:23 p.m. and it was very, very quiet in the dealership. And I just sat at myself. I just said to myself, I was like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm really missing this holiday. You know, when you come back off holiday and you have the holiday blues.
Yeah.
I had the holiday blues, man. I was like, do you know what? I want to live a life where I almost had like a life moment where I started to think about, what do I actually want from life?
Yeah.
And what I wanted from life was, I want to be able to travel whenever I want to travel. I want to be in a vehicle that allows me to make money while I'm sleeping. And it was actually when I was in Miami, I started to like when you feel very motivated. That's why I always said to people, travel, man, travel. And because it helps you to understand different cultures, see different things, see a different lifestyle, and it motivates you. So this is when I started to take my personal development seriously. So when I was in Miami, I started to like look at quotes and read quotes. And one of the quotes I read when I was in Miami was from Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't find a way of making money while you sleep, you will work until you die.
Yeah.
So I was like, that just resonated with me, man. That resonated with me so much. So this was just playing in my mind. So even when I got back home and I was like sitting at work, I was like, man, this guy is like arguably one of the best investors in the world. Surely, like, who am I not to listen to him? Like, I need to listen to this guy. He's got a good point. What can I do to make money while I sleep so that this will then align with my goals of having this time and location freedom? But one of the things that I want to make clear though is a lot of people have this dream of having time and location freedom, which is obviously everyone's dream. Who wouldn't love to be in a position where you can just go on, take time and step off the treadmill whenever and go and travel and have the time for it? Who wouldn't want that? But where people get it wrong is they're not willing to put the work in first. So with me, I was willing to put the work in. And I still am willing to put the work in now. I'm putting the work in, even though I've got the time and location freedom now. So that's one thing. Like, definitely have the goal of having time and location freedom. Definitely have the goal of having passive income, but not before you've built an active income. Build the active income first. Put the work in first.
Yeah. So don't worry about it being passive at the start.
Yeah.
Put in the graph, but just have a plan of eventually I'm going to delegate and things like that.
Yeah. 100%.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's a great tip, to be fair.
Yeah. 100%, man. You just need to be able to like have the resilience just to keep going.
Yeah.
And I discovered a strategy called rent to rent, and I went on a course. It wasn't that good, to be honest, but it taught me the fundamentals of what I need to do.
Yeah.
And the strategy was called rent to HMO. So very, very simple. It's finding landlords that have a problem of renting out their rooms, usually because their rooms are dated. And a lot of landlords, you'll be shocked of how many landlords have an asset, but they don't want to invest in their asset.
I'm one of them.
They don't want, their furniture is old.
Yeah.
The furniture is older than me a lot of the time. Like, I'm not even joking. The furniture, you say to them, like, how old's the wardrobe? I was like 30 years old. I've had it. Wow. You've got magnolia walls. The walls are dirty. The carpet's brown or green. There's carpet in the bathroom, and no one wants that. People want fresh. People want, sometimes less is more. Keep it simple. Nice white walls, feature wall. And I was basically able to go into these properties where these landlords are struggling and solving a problem. So that's what entrepreneurship is all about, isn't it? You solve problems, you create value. And that's what I was doing. I was going in these properties and saying, okay, cool, you're struggling to rent the property out because your property's old, no one wants it. So what I was able to do is essentially lease the property off them, take it on a long-term rent over like 3 to 5 years, then refurb the property, make it better, and also because I've added value to the property, maybe I spent like £4,000 or £5,000. Then what I would then do is put an increase on the rent and start making like between £700 to £1,000. And that's what I was doing. And that strategy worked so well back in 2018. I was killing it. Honestly, I really was killing it. in that strategy.
And was this when you was working in BMW?
This is when I was working in BMW.
So you was doing this strategy alongside your full-time job,
Yeah.
demanding job.
Yeah.
You know, how was that? What was that like?
Oh,
Try and take yourself back to that moment and think, what was it like for you?
it was crazy. It was crazy. And again, but it all comes down to how badly do you want it? How bad do you really want it? I was working 60 hours per week. I only had 1 day off per week. I used to have a Tuesday off. That Tuesday was a day where I would get stuff boxed off.
So you'd be working Monday to Sunday, Tuesday off.
Yeah.
So you're working all day on Sunday.
Yeah.
Tuesdays off, and that's the day that you were doing your viewings.
Yeah.
You were doing your outreach to the landlords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just two elements here, and this is a skill that I learned very quickly in business. As the CEO of your business, you need to focus on high value tasks, not low value tasks. So what is a low value task? A low value task would be research, sending emails, arranging appointments, arranging viewings, sending letters out to landlords. All these things you can outsource it to other people. So I quickly learnt the skill of leverage. So what I did, I leveraged while I was working, so that on that Tuesday that I had off, and this is the mistake that I see lots of entrepreneurs making, they focus on the low value tasks. They say, oh, I haven't really got that much time and I haven't really got that. And then they give lots of excuses. And that's fine if you haven't got time, but just make sure that the time that you're working in the business, make sure you're focused on the high value tasks.
Yeah.
So what the aim is, I had that 1 day off, and it forced me to be in a place where, okay, I need this day to be as productive as possible. I need to be able to move the needle on this day. It's so important. It's imperative, or I still would have been working at BMW or now.
Yeah.
So the way I was able to do this I'd get myself in a situation where I would only work on high value tasks on that day. So be it viewings, appointments, speaking to councils at the time, because back then I was trying to get into social housing, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. So we're doing high value tasks that I was moving the needle. I'd have telephone calls booked in for me. So we're getting all that stuff boxed off so that day was as productive as possible.
So how did you did you have a team at that time?
Yeah. So it was me and Ashley, and we also had a VA as well. So
So that was that from day one?
yeah, so Ashley, she was working in a full-time job at the time. So she wasn't working in the business to start off with, but then she came later on. She hated her job. So within like 9 months, she then worked in the business. But that wasn't really a big thing because I was earning enough money to help to sustain the family anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a big issue when she left her job, because either way, we was good.
Yeah.
So she was able to help out and get stuff boxed off as well. And then we had a VA as well that was also getting stuff boxed off and arranging appointments. But back then, it was only me doing the sales. It was only me that was speaking to landlords and really moving the needle.
Yeah. So it started out just you and Ashley.
Yeah.
And then you got the VA.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that was a game changer, getting a VA on board.
Oh, 100%.
So what is a VA?
A VA is a virtual assistant. So you can get a virtual assistant, you can get it from the UK, or you can get them from the Philippines, you can get them from Nigeria, you can get them from South Africa, lots of other places. And the beauty about getting a VA is, especially from overseas, they're a lot cheaper than the UK. So typically you can pay anything from $3 to $5 per hour for a virtual assistant. So what I tend to find with virtual assistants as well is they're very grateful for the job, for one. So because they're very grateful, because of the economy and the climate in their country is hard, it gives them a different attitude.
Yeah.
It gives them a different level of work ethic. They're very grateful. They're very hardworking. They have a great attitude, and they're just willing to work and willing to help you move the needle.
That's so important, isn't it?
Oh.
That having the team with the right attitude is so important.
Yeah. It's crucial. It's crucial. So I was able to do things that would move the needle, and then 2020, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to leave my job. And what's crazy, this is when I knew that I needed to leave my job. I was sitting again. It was funny. I kept having these revelations around 2:00. It was 2:00 in the afternoon, and the reason what would happen, it was after the lunch break. And I don't know why the dealership would always be very quiet at this time. So it used to give me time to think. I'd be sitting at my desk thinking, okay, what's my next move? What's my next move? And actually, it was crazy, you know. I was sitting at work and I was thinking to myself, being here is costing me money.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? You're at work where you earn money, but my mentality, my mindset was, this is costing me money being here. Like, because I knew that if I was putting this time and effort, if these 60 hours that I'm working, if I was putting that into my business, the opportunity and the reward was much higher than being here. So I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm thinking of leaving my job. I'm thinking about doing it now. Like right now, I'm going to do it. And I was like, what's your thoughts? And you know what? He said something so encouraging to me. I'll never forget this. He said, Shaun, anything you've ever put your mind to, you've always succeeded. And he was like, I believe in you. And I believe that if you leave your job and you go and start your own business, you're a leader, you will smash it.
Wow.
And do you know, like, being as a man, having a great relationship with your father is so important.
Yeah.
And my dad, he's like my hero to me. Do you know what I mean? Even now, I really look up to my dad. I really got the utmost respect for him. So hearing him say those words to me, I was like,
powerful, man.
Powerful.
Yeah, honestly,
And
that's crazy. I can just picture him saying it to you.
Yeah.
At that time. Yeah.
It was crazy. And I was like, yeah. And I don't know what it was. It's like, straight away, I just had the courage. It gave me. I was already 95% there anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, you just need like pushing over the line.
Yeah.
He pushed me over the line. I needed that words of encouragement at that time for me to say, you know what, you're right. Thanks for putting life into me. Thanks for putting that belief into me.
Yeah.
And it was great, man. And then I just literally went back into work, and I wrote my my notice. Didn't even think about it. Just handed it in.
Wow. So Shaun, wait, how many deals did you have at that time? I feel like we've skipped a little bit.
Yeah.
So just how many deals did you have, and what kind of deals were they? How much was you making? I think these are the details what we want to.
I was making around between £5,000 and £6,000 a month.
Is that profit?
Profit, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's surprising, because I was thinking rent to rent HMO is a very hard strategy. You know, talk to us about that. So
yeah, it was a very hard strategy, but I felt like, because I was based in Wolverhampton, and then I eventually moved to Birmingham, and back then there wasn't like anyone doing it in Wolverhampton. It was really weird. There's only a few people doing it, but me, with my sales background, my sales experience, honestly, I was mopping up. I was literally mopping up. In fact, it was me and Ty that went out. We actually had the letters, and the first time I did it, we wrote the letters out ourselves, and we actually hand delivered. Me and Ty went out on a Saturday, and we went to about 30 houses in Wolverhampton, because the way we was able to acquire these leads is we went to the Wolverhampton City Council, and then we asked them for the HMO public register. So for anyone that doesn't know, when you have an HMO as a landlord, you need to obviously get the HMO licensed, and that license is made public. It's public. It's made to the public, and it's kept in a folder. But Wolverhampton and certain councils are very old school, so they didn't have it digitally. They had it in a folder. So you literally have to go to the council, request to see a copy of the HMO license folder, and it was like in fact, it was like 4 folders that thick.
No wonder no one was doing it.
No one was doing it because people want the easy route. I didn't want the easy route. So I went to the council one day, and I sat down in the council office, and guess what I did? I went through every single page, and I screenshotted it. Turned the page, screenshotted it, and then what I had to do then is convert all those into a spreadsheet.
This is before ChatGPT.
Before ChatGPT. Before the ChatGPT days. This is when you had to use your brain.
Yeah.
This is when you had to be creative.
Yeah.
And then I put all that into a spreadsheet, and then what I then did is wrote letters out to these landlords and said, look, this is what we do. We can offer you guaranteed rent. If you're struggling to rent your property, we'll lease it off you. Give you a guaranteed rent for long term, 0 voids, 0 maintenance, 0 hassle, 0 tenant maintenance or tenant queries, whatever it is, we'll sort it for you. So you can sit back, you can relax, you can go and sit on the beach somewhere, we'll look after your asset. That was a message that was preaching, and was going all around Wolverhampton. And honestly, we was killing it. We was literally killing it. What's crazy as well is the first letter that me and Ty delivered, We actually closed that deal.
Wow.
The very first letter, you know.
Wow.
So imagine like we handed that letter to the landlord. Well, so I posted it for the letterbox. The day after, he calls me.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is easy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is too easy.
Yeah.
And then we went to his house, sat down, had coffee, closed the deal. And that deal was making £950 a month.
Wow.
And I was like, I was like, guys, it's over. It's game over. I went crazy. I was like, I'm a bit mad. I told my family, I told my friends, I told everyone at work. I was like, guys, this is back in 2018, way before I was thinking about handing my notice in. I was like, 19th of December 2020, I'm handing my notice. This is it. If I've just made £900 per month in one day, I was like, imagine where I'll be in like 6 months.
Yeah.
But obviously it wasn't that easy in the end. I got lucky with that one. But it showed me like, and I was just doing that, handing out these letters and just killing it. And then I was able to make £6,000 per month. So I was doing decent, because you're going to think I was making £6,000, but the business was making £6,000 per month. But I was using that to sort of reinvest back into the business anyway. So I wasn't taking in any of the profits. And I think that's really important when you first start a business. Don't make your wages track them. This is something I learned from my dad actually. Don't make your business track. So don't make your wages track the business. So when the business starts increasing, what ends up happening is people are like, okay, cool, I'm now making £5,000 a month. So let me just withdraw £5,000 per month from the business and keep that in my own pocket. But the business needs time to breathe. The business needs time to grow. So that £6,000 was coming in every single month. I didn't take a penny. I didn't need to take a penny because I was still working. I was still earning decent money, and I still made sure that when I was working, I still remained motivated. I still put 110% effort into my job at the time, because how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So whatever vehicle I'm in, I want to make sure that I'm giving 110%. So I made sure that I was still making the money, so that I didn't have to dip into my business. I mean, that had time to breathe and that had time to grow, and that's what I did.
Yeah, because Shaun, people know you for social housing. Yeah. So I bet some people watching are thinking, "Hey, hold on a sec, you went to rent HMO. What's all that about?"
Yeah.
But I know something crazy happened.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to jump the gun here, but
yeah,
something did kind of shake things up.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
And you kind of pivoted into social housing. But before we get onto that, I just want to kind of just get my head around this. So basically, you've got how many deals before you left your job? At the moment that you left your job, how many deals, just roughly?
Man, I think it was around 10 deals,
10 deals.
Because it wasn't all HMOs as well. I actually had quite a few service accommodation units as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, service accommodation is where you release an apartment or a building or a house, whatever, and then you turn it into essentially a holiday let, where you put it on Airbnb, you put it on all the online travel portals, and charge a nightly rate for it. Yeah. And honestly, I've still got PTSD from that strategy. I really have. I really have. I'll tell you a story. I'll never forget. There was one day where I was at work, and sometimes we'd be with a customer for like 2-3 hours trying to sell a car. And I'm not joking, my phone was banging off. I was like I was getting like 9 missed calls. I was like, what is going on? And I couldn't answer it because I was with this customer. I was trying to spend 50 grand. He wants my undivided attention, and my phone's just going off. Anyway, I was like, can you just bear with me 2 minutes? I walked into the office, checked my phone. I looked at my WhatsApp message. Anyway, you know what it was? The guest checked into the apartment and sent me a picture of the apartment that wasn't clean. The bed was messy. There's rubbish everywhere. And it had to be a time where the previous guest had a party. So there's pizza boxes, there was alcohol everywhere, there was cigarette butts. He was showing me like a picture of a cup and they had cigarette butts inside. It was, oh man, my heart sunk. I never forget that moment, man. And that's when I realised, you know what, this strategy ain't for me. This strategy is not for me, man.
Okay, so cool. So you had about 10 deals.
Yeah.
Making about what, 5-6 grand a month, give or take. And then you handed in your notice.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened then? So what year is this? 2020?
This is 2020.
You quit your job 2020. That's COVID.
Left my job. Everything was good. I was like, cool. I had about £9,000 in savings. I was like, this is going so well. Making 5-6 grand a month. Life is good now. And, I started to really take my personal development seriously. And, in all these books that I read of people that are successful, and talking to people like my dad who have been in business years, everyone always said to me, they was like, Shaun, I know business is good for you now, but business, just like how life is not smooth sailing, isn't it? You're going to have personal issues. Someone you know is going to get ill. You know, like you could be having the best time of your life. Like, things happen, life happens, and the same in business. Business is full of peaks and troughs. Just because things are going well today, market changes and things, there is going to be a time that things will go wrong. But me being me, I thought, I was prepared for it, but I didn't think it would happen so soon. So I left my job on the 28th of Feb 2020. 3 weeks after that, COVID happened.
No way.
Yeah.
So literally, you're looking on TV and it's
breaking
news.
Breaking news, and on my heart now, I'm thinking, wow, I've just left my job, and now this is happening.
That was a test.
Yeah, this was a huge test for me. So, and then I remember sitting at home watching Boris Johnson, and he says, "Yeah, like lockdown." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, man! You got to be kidding me!" Because you got to think, the Airbnbs, it's hospitality, people are traveling. So I'm like, so straight away, I had an email from Booking.com and Airbnb. Sorry, provider. We're now closing the calendars because of COVID. And I was like, what am I going to do? Because these landlords are expecting the rent. So I was like, oh, naively thinking, but I've still done. It's actually all fine. I've got all my HMOs. They're fine because they're paying the rent. Guess what happened? They didn't pay the rent. In fact, most of my tenants were students. They all went back. They was like, I'm not sharing the bathroom, I'm not sharing the kitchen, I'm not sharing any facilities. I'm going back home with my parents because the unis are shut now.
Yeah.
So they didn't want it. And it just all went pear-shaped. 40% of my tenants didn't pay. They had empty houses. And I was like, this business is now tumbling. That £9,000 that I had saved was now spending on funding the business, because I had about a couple of months until I'd be bankrupt. So I was like, man, BMW, which like they was all furloughed. If I just waited a few more weeks, I could have got furloughed, and then I would have had my wage still paid. So anyway, I called HMRC because at this time, everyone was getting furloughed. So I was thinking to myself, oh, this is fine. Like I've worked since I was 16. So surely HMRC will look after me, and they'll be like, yeah, don't worry, you're a good taxpayer. You we'll sort you out, and we'll pay you your wage. So I called HMRC and I said, yeah, I have to wait, because back then it was crazy wait times. I have to wait for like 2 hours on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm just registered as self-employed, just starting my own business. The business is failing. I need this furlough money that everyone's talking about. They said, Mr. Davis, and it's like, it's crazy, because when she said it to me, it's like she knew the disappointment. It's like she was having a hard time telling me, because she knew she knew what she was about to say. I wasn't going to like it. She's like, Mr. Davis, unfortunately, there is no furlough for you. I was like, what do you mean? There's no furlough? She said, you're just registered as self-employed. So because you've just registered as self-employed, what that means is you haven't paid any taxable income. Yeah, you haven't got any taxable income. So I was like, what about the 16 years that I've worked? Does that not count for anything? She goes, no. But she said, there is one option though. She goes, you can register for universal credit.
Damn.
And that was a kick in the teeth, because I've always been a hard worker. So to now hear that you might have to go on universal credit after all these years of paying tax and working hard was just crazy for me. I was like, okay, well, what is because back then I was that naive. I didn't even know what universal credit was. I was like, what is universal credit? It's like, it's like benefits. It's basically benefits. You know, it's used to be called DSS, but it's now changed to universal credit. I was like, okay, cool. So what am I going to get for that? She goes, £75 a week.
Damn.
She goes, that's your only option. And I said, you know what, forget it. I said, that £75 is not going to even scratch the surface for me and what I'm used to earning and my lifestyle, etc. I said, that's no help to me, and actually could have put me in a box. I don't want to be in a box. I said, I'm going to have to figure it out. But that put me in a situation where my back was against the wall. I was like, I have to figure this thing out. And at that point, you then have two options. Do you crawl into a corner, have a victim mentality, think the whole world's against you? Or do you just literally come out swinging and think, you know what? I'm going to put my all into this thing? Because the world is very given. It's like I've never seen someone truly put their all into something and fail. I've just never seen it. If you truly want to achieve something, whether that's a business goal, whether that's a fitness goal, whatever it is, whether that's a skill, education, like if you truly put your all into it, you will win. Like it's inevitable. You've got to get the results. You actually have the power to control the scoreboard, and that's what I realized. So this was the first time in my life where I had to put that to a test, and I had to think to myself, okay, I'm truly going to get this thing 100%. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I don't know how I'm going to turn this around, but I know that I will come out the other end, and at the end of it, guess what? I'm going to have a great story to tell.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you know what's crazy from my perspective is like we both know people, right, during COVID that had large rent-to-rent HMO portfolios.
Yeah.
That was doing that. That was the main strategy. Yeah. And they really lost it all.
Yeah.
You know? They was losing money. They was losing money for a long time, and then they just had to literally give back all the properties to the landlords.
Yeah.
I think because it's COVID, the landlords maybe were a bit more forgiving. Maybe like, okay, it's COVID. Like, what can they really say? It's COVID. So, but that just shows you how, you know, elements of the, you know, crisis can affect your property business.
Oh, 100%.
And that's why strategy is so important.
Yeah.
But
it's crucial.
So what did you do then? So you've just been told that you need to go on universal credit.
Yeah.
It was a pivotal moment. What did you do?
So I was like, what can I said to myself at the time, I was like, what can I do to get through this? And the only thing that kept coming back to me was social housing. Now, I always tried to do social housing from the start, but because of how busy things was, and because I was working full time, and because, you know, the business was doing somewhat well,
and it's probably confusing as well.
It was so confusing, yeah. And it's like I was thinking to myself, do you know what? I will get around to it at some point, but right now this is working really well. So actually, there's no need for me to, you know, pivot right now. Let me just work on this, get this off the ground. Maybe get like 10 grand a month. Then I'll start to like pivot. But then I was like, okay, cool. My back's against the wall. Now is the time to sort of get this off the ground. I always say in life and business, and this is what makes business so exciting, you're only one connection, one contact away from changing your life. Literally. And I remember this is literally how I got to social housing. Firstly, I was calling the councils, sitting in Ty's room, because in my old house, it's quite small, and didn't have an office or anything like that. So Ty used to have a sofa in his room, and I used to sit in his room and just work from there a lot of the time. And I used to sit in that room all day long, 10, 15 hours a day, just working, just trying to figure things out. And I said to myself the one day, I'm not even eating until I get a yes. I'm literally keep battering these phones because I don't have a choice. There is no other way out right now. And I was part of this WhatsApp group, and it's just like God's timing, it's just perfect. I was in this WhatsApp group, and this girl messaged in this WhatsApp group, and she said, I'm a social house provider. I'm looking for a 6-bedroom property in Handsworth. And I was like, how crazy is this? This WhatsApp group, I never used to check it. But it was just this one day I decided to check it. She put this message up. Now, how crazy is this? I had a 6-bedroom property in Handsworth.
Wow.
That I was meant to close like the week before, and to put it in and turn it into like working professionals and students. But because of what happened, I put it on pause, and the landlord was like, yeah, I understand, no worries, let me know when things get better, I'll hold it for you. I was like, how crazy is this? So I was thinking, actually, what I'll do, I'll source her this property rather than take it on myself, and at least then I can get paid £2,500 to £3,000, which is typical for sourcing a property, and at least then that gives me a bit more cash flow, which is what I was struggling with at the time.
Yeah.
So then I went to the property, messaged her, arranged to meet her at the property, and I remember speaking to this guy from the council was there, and bearing in mind I was struggling, and I was like not really understanding the concept of social housing, how it all works. Anyway, this guy, I don't know why, but he just really liked me. He just really talked to me straight away, and I was like, he was asking about business, and I was like telling him, yeah, I'm really looking to get to social housing. And he was just like, the way he explained it, he simplified it in such a simple way, and he basically said, well, why don't you do it? Like, you contact that person, contact this, do that. And he made it seem like, wow, like, is that how simple it is? Have I been overthinking it this whole time? And he based that one conversation literally changed my life. It literally, that was it, because he told me the direction I need to go and who I need to speak to.
So this was someone in the council, yeah?
Someone that was in the council.
Just dropped some game on you, told you what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then that first deal, that first rent-to-rent social housing deal, did you source it to the
Sourced it, yeah.
How much did you charge?
£2,500.
£2,500.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, I know some of the story.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Then I called the council, became a provider, and it was actually very easy back then. It's a lot harder now in terms of support, support accommodation, which was the first strategy I did, because now they've got this lot of red tape. But back then it was just so easy because the council was desperate. They was inundated with homeless people. They really needed providers to step up to the mark and provide houses, and that's what I was able to do. I was able to provide that. So there was like, yeah, do this, come to the office, come and see us. Became a provider, and then figured it out.
Wow.
I had no experience in social housing. I didn't know what I was doing, but here's the thing. I had the attitude and the willingness to learn. And I was like, this has to work. I figured it all out. And I found a property in Birmingham. It's like literally 2 weeks after I became a provider, I found a property in Birmingham, and I was able to negotiate a 3-month rent-free period. So what the game changer was with this situation, a lot of landlords, and this is how I was able to sort of map up in that time, landlords were also in the same position that we was in. So I had lots of empty properties at the time, but landlords also had empty properties. So I was like, look, I can take it off you, but I'm going to need some time. And it's going to be worth your while at the end, because you're going to have a long-term guaranteed rent.
Yeah.
At the moment, your property's empty anyway. We're in COVID. It's locked down. You ain't going to fill that property. And they couldn't argue that. That was a true statement. You're not going to fill this property, because I know you're not going to fill it, because I'm in the same game. And I was doing things like, how crazy is this? I had an offer at one point where I was given 6 weeks rent-free. 6 weeks. And even then, I couldn't fill the properties.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
So this is on your working professionals. HMO deals.
Yep.
You could not fill those rooms.
I couldn't fill it. People didn't want it at all. So I was using this. I was already tested. I understood the market. So I was like to the landlords, like, you ain't going to fill this. Look at this property that I've got. 6 weeks rent free, no inquiries. So if I'm doing this, this is what I do. I'm management essentially. You're not going to have any chance. So I was like, I'll take it off of you, but I'm going to need a 3-month rent-free period. We don't know how long this COVID thing's going to last for. So I was able to negotiate that. My first 2 deals, I got 3 months rent-free. And that allowed me then to sort of get the ball rolling, get tenants in, start making a bit of money, start making profit, and make this business work. And honestly, that was my breakthrough.
Wow.
But in all this, you got to understand, it seems easy just telling the story now, but honestly, pulling back to that time, it was a truly stressful time. It was the time where that tested my character the most. I had to have a certain level of resilience. I had a certain level of self-belief. I had to trust God. I had to, ensure that He's leading the way, because I had no one else to turn to. I had to this had to work, and this is my vision. And I didn't really want to have to go back to a 9-to-5 again. I was like, you know what, I've come too far now.
Yeah.
And I'm not turning back.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because we literally know people that they crumbled in that moment. I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying that they didn't pivot. And I think what you did very well in that moment was, you didn't just take the L. You kept fighting. Yeah. And you pivoted strategies. You went into social housing. Talk us through that journey of scaling up the social housing portfolio, because just to remind anyone that might be watching, you've now got over 90 rent-to-rent social housing deals. Yeah. So in your portfolio now, have you still got any rent-to-rent Airbnbs or?
No. Getting them all back.
Yeah.
I thought I'm getting rid of this stress.
Yeah.
See, with the thing with Airbnbs is the number one, and even like with working professionals as well, the issue that you have is, number one, tenant marketing.
Yeah.
You have to market to find the tenants. There's a lot of tenant marketing involved. And the thing with like, especially like a strategy called temporary accommodation, which I absolutely love. It's my favorite strategy because of how passive it is. There's zero tenant marketing involved.
Yeah.
And even with the social housing, the supported accommodation, a lot of the times there is a little bit of tenant marketing, but mostly the tenants come to us. They're like, I'm working with homeless shelters, working with the council directly. They give us the referrals. And that's the game changer. So I'm not having to go out there and find the properties. Find the referrals.
Yeah.
And the tenants. Also, as well, a big thing with what I hated with the service accommodation, I did hate it as well. Like, I know hate is a strong word, but I really did hate it.
Yeah.
Peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
Peaks and troughs.
Inconsistency.
Like, people don't talk about that enough. Like, it was great in the summer months, making good money. Winter months, died of death, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is just not what I need. It's like, there's too much time and effort, and I don't think the time and effort I'm putting in is worth the reward. And so I was like, the social housing just gave me that financial stability, because, you know, the social housing is very simple. You get paid, you know exactly what you're getting paid, and it's consistent. Doesn't matter whether it's December, doesn't matter whether it's June and you're in the height of summer. It's like you're getting paid the same amount every single month. And it's like, I needed that stability because I worked too hard in sales, where it was like, you know, constantly chasing, where's the next sale? I didn't want to be in a position where I'm constantly chasing that next tenant now.
Yeah.
I want to be in a position where I've got that financial stability so that I can have, remember my goal to start off with, time freedom, location freedom.
Yeah, that's it. So, scaling up.
Yeah.
So, let's say, for example, now you've got a couple of these deals. You started your first social housing one, you sourced it to somebody.
Yeah.
So, what about the next couple deals after that? What were they like?
They're also the ones where I was able to negotiate a rent-free period, because it was in the height of COVID. Now, property is a relationship game. You need to build relationships, and that's something that I've been really good at doing throughout the time. I've been really good at building relationships, but also maintaining relationships. There's two core elements. You've got to build the relationship, and you've got to maintain it. Yeah. And the maintaining it is really important, because that's how you really, you know, make deep connections with people, and you're really able to sort of build that trust. And you need to do that quite quickly in the negotiation, because, you know, I've had landlords where, you know, someone might offer them more money. I had landlords at the start of my journey where I was extremely inexperienced and I had no proof of concept, and like I might have been competing against a very experienced, established company with lots of money in the bank and a proven, you know, concept. But landlords would choose me because of me, because I'd done the work of being very personable, building the rapport and ensuring that, you know, that trust is there.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So those couple of deals and being creative with how to structure those deals really enabled me to scale.
So did you take them on yourself? So you
took them on myself, yeah.
Okay, you took them on yourself.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a picture like of the situation. So the first one you sourced it.
Yeah.
The next, say 3 or 4, you took on yourself.
Yeah. Took on myself, done the refurb myself, and got it all boxed off. Now, the very first deal that I got was actually a very good condition. There was no refurb needed. That's the one that I got a 3-month rent-free period on there. And the second one, I was able to get the same deal, 3-month rent-free. However, that needed a bit of work. But then I got the second one a couple of months after my first one. So I was able to make some money and then use the profits to do like a light refurb. And, you know, we're not rebuilding the houses. All we're doing is like a lick of paint, changing the magnolia walls to like white, putting a feature wall on there to make it a bit more appealing, changing some of like the old furniture as well, putting new furniture, make it more modern, and just make it more appealing, so that we can get tenants in there quickly. So basically, you ended up becoming an approved provider. With one council. Okay. Became approved provider with Birmingham City Council, and that was it. Like, I was like, I've got a great opportunity here, and one of the things I love about what I do now is I genuinely get to change lives. Lives are being changed. In fact, lives are being saved on a daily basis. We're literally out here saving lives. People come to us sometimes they're on the verge of suicide. Sometimes they're in a really bad place mentally. Sometimes they don't have the skill set. Sometimes they don't have the self-belief. And they come through us. We provide a safe, secure accommodation, a safe environment. We provide a great level of support to them, and we work on their mindset, we work on their skill set. And the whole point of it is to get them into independent accommodation.
Yeah.
And we do that by building their skill set and then helping them to get back into work as well. So it's extremely rewarding, and I think that's the reason why you got to think of, before I did this, typically every 2 to 3 years I'd end up changing, because I'd be working in an organization where I would get bored and I think, what can I do next? I've had this business now for 7 years. It was 7 years in August, and we're now in September, and it's like I'm not bored at all. In fact, I've got so much desire and ambition to want to do more. I'm thinking, how can I go even bigger? How can I help more people? Because there is a huge mission with this, and I think for me, I've realised what I need is an actual mission. I need like an actual goal that I'm working towards, and with this, I actually feel like, you know what, I've got a mission, I've got a huge purpose, and what I'm doing is making a difference every single day.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
So let's say now then, so taking it back, so you've got multiple deals now with the council. Did you, I feel like you missed a big chunk here, you know, when you were sourcing all the deals.
Yes.
Was that, I'm guessing this was around the same time.
Yeah.
So you're taking on, just so I can get my head around it, you're taking on a lot of rent-to-rent social housing deals.
Yeah.
A lot of them you're giving them to the council.
Yeah. So
all of them, yeah. All of the new deals you're taking on, you're giving them to the council.
Give them to the council, yeah.
And then alongside that, you're also sourcing deals. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, also sourcing deals. So this is something, again, that I really enjoyed doing at the time, because again, it really helped me financially, and again, it was the demand was crazy. So I actually fell into it by accident. So with when I found that investor that was looking for the deal in Birmingham, that was the first deal that I ever sourced. And it made me think, actually, that was really easy. I've just made like £2,500 just by having a conversation and sourcing a deal and solving a problem. I was like, surely I can do this more. And that's what I started to do. I started to source more deals. So what ended up happening is I ended up building a great understanding of how to find good deals, and that's what it is. If you can find good deals and you can negotiate good deals, it becomes set.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I now had my mind fixated on social housing. I couldn't unsee it, and I was sort of scarred actually from working with the working professionals and the Airbnb and doing service accommodation, because all I kept thinking was, yes, the market, and at this point now the market was changing and lockdown finished, and it was, you remember that time we was in and out of lockdown?
Yeah.
So I kept thinking to myself, if this changes again, yes, things are good now, and yes, then the market's moving again, but I was like, what happens if they shut the calendars down again? I kept thinking about this, but what ended up happening on the other side, a lot of people, they had time in lockdown. They was like, you know what, I really need to do something with myself. I really want to start a business. So they then were starting the working professionals. They was like, I want to start a rent to HMO business, etc. So I was like, okay, well, I'm no longer interested in doing rent to HMO now. I've done it. Still works, and the market's moving, but it's not for me. I'm now in another vehicle that's more safer. But if you want to do that, I can help you. I can source you a deal. So I started to work with lots of people that were doing it, that wanted to get started, and that's what I did.
Did you source them the deals that you already had, that you wanted to get rid of, like the working professional HMO ones?
No, some of them I was able to keep them and get them. Some of them I handed back. A lot of my Airbnbs I handed back. Some of the working professionals I kept them, and then in fact, there was a couple, I think, actually thinking about it now, that I did source on, but quite a few of them I kept on, and just they ran well. And what I did, I actually combined some of the tenants. So I had, like, in every house I kept having like a few tenants that would just leave, and in some of the houses that were a little bit terrible, and I didn't really spend much money on them anyway. There was the ones that I gave back, but some of the nice houses that I knew that had potential, I knew that was in a great area, was close to the city centre, etc. And I had quite a few tenants that still was in there. I was able to move the tenants out of the other ones, put them in the nice ones, houses, and then get rid of the other ones.
Wow. Okay. So obviously, right now you got over 90 deals.
Yeah.
What was the main things you did to scale up from, you know, getting the contacts with the social housing, with the council? How did you really build it to the massive portfolio that it is today?
Yeah.
What were the main things you did?
So the first one is building relationships. I know I mentioned it quite a lot, but that really is the key. Property is a relationship game. Like, in fact, what was my first slogan? It was property where property transactions turn into relationships. That was my first name of my business was called SDU Property Solutions. And it was the slogan was where property transactions turn into relationships, because that's what it was. I was all about how can I build relationships with people. So one of the ways that I've been able to really move the needle is by almost partnering with agents, because you got to think estate agents are great. They have access to hundreds. I work with some agents that have thousands of properties in their books, and they work with hundreds of landlords. So if you can partner with an agent and they really understand exactly what it is you do, but more importantly, how you can help them and how you can make their life easier, it's going to be an absolute game changer. So what I found is if I can partner with estate agents and showcase to them this theory, it's going to make my life easier. And also I'll be able to find properties a lot quicker. And that's what I did.
So how did you structure it with them?
Just going... There was no fancy structure, a sense. It was just going into an estate agent, introducing myself and just saying, look, this is what I do. I do social housing. I'm a social housing provider with the local council. I'm looking at scaling. I'm looking at going really big. This is how I can help you. This is how I can make your life easier. And it really is a game changer for estate agents, because you're going to think, and this is what you have to help them to understand. Their current setup is that they have two options. So they have a property. They can either lease it to me. If you lease it to me, you can have 0 voids, 0 operations, 0 risk, because there's no risk. We don't have the same tenant rights as a tenant, and there's 0 operations, and all in all. But here's the thing. Nothing changes with the landlord. So if you're getting like 12 to 15%, which I know a lot of them charge in Birmingham, from the landlord, that still remains the same. But you're now getting paid for doing absolutely nothing. Okay. Which is, why wouldn't you want that? Why would you want to work harder? Whereas the other option is you rent to a working professional that have all the tenant rights. You can't just evict them. Headaches. People with all the maintenance. Yeah. The neighbours complaining, all that stuff. You have to take on all that burden for the same, 12 to 15%, which means you need more staff. You need more manpower. You need more time. It takes more energy. It's 100% not passive. So I was able to literally go into an estate agent, and this is what negotiation is about. It's about helping the other party to understand, look, these are your two options. And you know what I'll do? I'd actually write it down, because I really like writing things down. I'd book a meeting with an estate agent. I'd sit in the office. I'd say, look, these are your two options. I'd sit down, I'd write it down, because when you write something down, if I'm explaining something to you and I write it down, it helps you. It stays in your head, but also as well, if I'm just talking to you, you might not be listening. But now I'm writing, you're like, okay, what's he writing? So it helps me to slow things down, and then it helps you to understand it visually. So you've seen all the points of professionals, all the points of working with me. I'll sit down and write it all down. Like, do you know what? This guy's got a point. And I'd leave them with the paper as well.
Kind of like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Well, it is a win-win.
Oh, 100%.
Because they're still getting paid. You're getting paid.
Yeah.
And you're housing homeless people. It's a win-win-win. And the landlord's happy. Win-win-win-win.
You couldn't write it. It's as simple as that. So that's what I would do. And then I would do a lot of direct-to-vendor marketing as well. Loads of direct-to-vendor marketing. Okay,
so I know we touched on the sourcing side. How many deals did you end up sourcing altogether?
It was nearly 30 deals, It was around the 30 mark in the end.
And what brought you away from doing that? Why did you stop?
Do you know what it was? Like, again, it's crazy, because 30 deals is a lot of deals to source. Some of them are charged a little bit lower than what I should. £1,500, some of them are £1,000, some of them £2,500, some of them £3,000. I never really treated it like a business. For me, it was a stepping stone. And the reason why I didn't treat it like a business, because I didn't like the fact it didn't solve the problem that I was trying to solve.
Yeah.
The problem that I really wanted to solve was I really want financial stability. What vehicle can I be in that's going to give me financial stability? Sourcing didn't give me that.
Yeah.
The issue with sourcing is, yes, it's great. You get paid, as I said, like anything from 1,500 to up to 5. I'm sure people are charging crazy rates in sourcing now. But I've got to, every month, I've got to get out there, find new investors, find new properties. I didn't want to do that. I want to be able to do the work once and get paid over and over again.
So essentially, you tried quite a few different strategies, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did rent-to-rent HMO, working professionals. You
Yeah.
did rent-to-rent Airbnb.
Yeah.
You did property sourcing.
Yeah.
And you kind of eliminated, all three of them.
Yeah.
And you kind of replaced it with rent-to-rent social housing.
Yeah.
Rent-to-rent temporary accommodation. So talk to us about that. What does your business look like today? And what's been the best thing about it?
Yeah, man. Good question. So the business today, we've got a decent sized organization, and we help and support people. We work with councils all over the UK, and we house the homeless and we house families, and we work with the council to do this, and we help and support them. And we're scaling nationwide. We've got over 500 rooms in our portfolio, and that's where we are. We're currently striving to get to 1,000 rooms.
Wow. And you've
That's
got
the
some
goal.
big properties as well. You've got some, what is it?
Yeah,
10 bed?
10 beds, 14 beds,
Wow.
13 beds. We've got loads of big properties in that.
HMOs, yeah?
All HMOs, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are apartments as well, but all mainly HMOs.
Yeah, for anyone that don't know, HMO is obviously a shared house.
Yeah.
So you take a property, it's rented
House
out.
and
on a
multi-pocket
room, right?
occupants, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Take it, rent it out, but we're putting in social housing tenants. So tenants that are on universal credit that have a need, have a support need, and then they go through our tailor-made support program, and then we get paid from the council. Number one, to house the tenant. Number two, to provide support, care, support and supervision to the tenant.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing. Honestly, your journey's been incredible.
Yeah.
It really has. But just so everyone's super clear, and I want people watching to really get the clarity on, how they can do it themselves, how you've done it.
Yeah.
I know we've got tons of other videos together. You've got tons of videos on your channel and on my channel, all about this kind of thing. But rent-to-rent temporary accommodation and rent-to-rent, the other way of doing it, where you're doing supported living.
Yeah.
Talk to us about those two strategies. Try and make it super simple for
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
So supported accommodation is a lot harder to get into because it only works in certain councils. It depends on what demand they have available at the time. There's a lot of red tape, and it can take a long time to get involved. I was very lucky where I got into that at the right time, and I was able to sort of build the connections I needed as well. Because one of the big things with supported accommodation is you've got to be able to build the referrals, because the referrals don't come to you. You've got to build the contact and you build the relationship with the councils, build the relationships with the homeless shelters to ensure that you've got an influx of referrals coming in. Because you could have all this great ambition and all this these great properties, but if you can't fill them, you've just got a liability, not an asset. So that's that strategy. But then the strategy that I absolutely love, the strategy that I'm actually focusing on in 2025 and beyond, is temporary accommodation.
Wow. Just before you get onto that one, just staying on the first one, supported accommodation.
Yeah.
You might have just saved a lot of people a lot of time, energy, and money.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people reach out to us that want to become a social housing provider. They want to do supported living. Talk to us a bit more on, would you recommend people to go down that route?
Do you know what it is? It all depends. So with supported accommodation and supported living, and the two separate things, by the way. Supported living is more high level, and it's where that typically you're going to be Ofsted registered or CQC registered, and also you have staff that most of the time they live in the properties. Or just
that alone, Shaun. That's just, let that sink in for a sec. You have to be Ofsted most of the time. You have to be Ofsted registered.
Yeah.
CQC registered.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you said?
And sometimes you have staff that live in the properties because if their tenants are high level.
Yeah, so when we're talking about red tape, this is not just some easy red tape where you can just do this and that and you get through it. This is actually some hard things you have to do.
Huge. So what I would say, right, with this, it's not something, supported accommodation or supported living is not something that I would personally want to teach, or something that I would personally say, guys, get into it, because it's more than just a business.
Yeah.
It really is a lifestyle. Your people's lives are at stake, and you have to ensure that you have the capacity, you have the desire to actually want to help these people. Because telling you something, if this person is under your care, support, or supervision, and they pass away, you could be done. This could be on you, because if you're negligent and you haven't, so if you're thinking, you got shiny penny syndrome, you're like, I'm earning X amount of money from this, because if you get it right, the money can be great, but it comes with a lot of accountability and responsibility as well. So you have to take all that into consideration as well, which is why I don't recommend people to get into it for the money. You've got to get into it because you have a desire to actually help these people, and you've got to be very knowledgeable on what it takes and understand what you're getting yourself into as well, because it can be, I'll be honest with you, it can be a headache. I've got a great team behind me that help and support me. It's taken me like a lot of years to sort of get to this stage.
But the other way of doing it, I think we need to be super clear on this. The other way of doing it is significantly easier to get into. It requires, I don't want to say there's no red tape. There are things you have to do, but it's a lot easier.
A lot easier. It's so much easier. It's actually crazy.
Does it almost feel like if you was taking it right back? From when it's COVID again. Let's just say you've got your working professional HMO rent-to-rent portfolio. Would you still become a provider?
If I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't. I would become a temporary accommodation provider. I would have got straight into that strategy. Well, you saw straight away. I've done the challenge. For anyone that's watching this, surely you've seen the challenge that I did, where I basically lived with a stranger.
Shout out to Sandu.
He's smashing it.
Yeah,
he's absolutely smashing it. He's left his job now.
Wow.
He's doing really well as a result. But I really wanted to showcase how easy. Like, I dropped a lot of free game on that challenge. Like, there was no you able to click to literally see from start to finish exactly how to do it. Start to finish. I didn't know that I was going to end up in that council. I had no clue of how it was going to end, how I was going to do it, but I just knew I could do it.
Okay, question. Sorry. Do you have to be CQC registered? Do you have to be with Ofsted? No? Because, and this is the game changer, this is what anyone can do, and this is why I don't mind telling people, you can get involved in temporary accommodation because there's no care, support or supervision needed. You're not providing support to the tenant. It's typically families that are moving in, and the families have no needs. It's very low maintenance. All you're doing is managing the property. You essentially become a housing manager, but to become a housing manager, it's easy. And actually, you can outsource that element as well. It's just, you know what, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people getting into social housing is so confusing. And
very confusing.
Even when I got started in social housing, for me, if I didn't have you there and one of my other mates that did social housing, I would literally be lost for it because it's so confusing. It really is. And obviously you're doing it at a very high level. You've scaled up massively. To keep it super simple for people, what is the best way for someone to get into social housing today?
So, if you want to get involved in social housing, you need to firstly understand the tenant type that you want to support. If you want to support, like, you've got like mother and baby, you've got homeless, you've got high level tenants, you've got low level tenants, you've got tenants that just have, anxiety and depression, or at a very low level. You've got tenants at a high level, like drug addicts, alcohol addicts. You've got people that have just come out of prison as well. You can work with companies that house them. You work with probation officers. You need to understand, it's not just a case of, with social housing, it's not just a case of saying, I want to start a social housing business, I want to get involved. You've got to understand what tenant types. So for me personally, I decided that I want to do low level only. And even with low level, it's super stressful. I can't stress you how stressful it is, even at doing low level. I'll just house people that have low level anxiety, low level depression. And I've also got quite a few domestic violence houses as well. So people that have been a victim of domestic violence, I provide a safe house, and we house those victims in a house and provide the relevant support to them.
But I'm almost thinking, for someone that wants to get into social housing,
Yeah.
as we've just been discussing, there's so much red tape.
Yeah.
You know, becoming a provider.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that they either do rent-to-rent temporary accommodation, or they do a back-to-back lease with a provider, or they like buy a property, lease it to a social housing provider? Because all three of those, they kind of come under the same bracket of social housing.
Yeah.
Those are the three kind of strategies that we really would recommend and teach.
100%.
We just keep it 100% real. I just don't want
yeah.
anyone to watch and think, oh, this is confusing.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to choose what tenant type I need to pick.
Exactly. So an easier way to do it is just find us an existing social housing provider and source them a property.
Yeah.
Source them a property, but do it under, but not just like source it for a fee.
Yeah.
Do it under a back-to-back lease. That
Back-to-back
means you get a property, you lease it from the landlord. Let's say the landlord's charging you £2,000. You lease it back out to a social housing provider for £3,000.
Yeah.
So that means you're making £1,000 profit per month for doing absolutely nothing.
And you're not even getting involved in the care side.
Nothing. Now, imagine you do this 10 times. That's £10,000 per month.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do it 10 times.
Yeah.
Once you've done it once, you just do it again and again and again. It's rinse and repeat. And there's zero risk, because the reason why it's zero risk is because it's a back-to-back lease. So what that means is whatever you sign with the provider on the terms of the contract, you sign the exact same terms with the landlord. So if the provider breaks the lease, essentially you're a middleman, aren't you? So if the provider breaks the lease, that like two things, they go bankrupt, or their council changes their the terms and they lose the contract or whatever it is. They break the lease, they'll have to give you a certain amount of notice. You get the same notice period to the landlord, which means there's zero risk for you. You're not lumbered with the property, and you're not going to have this big debt to sort of carry because you've got the same terms.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's honestly great, and honestly, there's people out there doing deals with back-to-back lease, making up to £2,000 per month
Off one deal.
off one deal.
They're scaling up. They've got multiple deals.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just break down the different ways of doing it. So you've got within social housing, temporary accommodation, all comes under the similar bracket, umbrella, let's say. We've got becoming a provider. As we said, there's a lot of red tape on that. It's very hard to do. But there's also three other ways that we would kind of recommend.
Yeah.
Which is obviously buying a property and leasing it to a social housing provider,
Yeah.
doing a rent-to-rent, and essentially doing a back-to-back lease with a provider, with an existing provider. You don't have to get involved in the actual care side of it or the support side. And then the other way is rent-to-rent temporary accommodation. So I think that's the last one for you to break down. What is that in a nutshell?
Yeah. So it's working with the council directly. You can become a provider, and essentially you get paid a nightly rate.
Okay.
So they will rent it off. So they will lease it off you, and you'll get the council tenants in there, and it's families. So the difference with temporary accommodation, the reason why it's such a game changer, is because landlords typically think, oh, social housing, it's going to be high level, doors kicked in, windows smashed. That's not temporary accommodation.
Yeah.
Temporary accommodation is just normal families that are on the council register and they need accommodation and they don't have a permanent residence. And the issue is the councils have an obligation to house the tenants, but they don't have enough properties. So they need properties from landlords or people that are creative enough to do a rent-to-rent, start a business, and they will lease it off you, and then they'll pay you a nightly rate, and you can earn anything typically from from £500 to £1,500 per month for doing a temporary accommodation deal. So it's honestly a game changer. It's families, they're very grateful to have the accommodation, not going to cause you any hassle. 9 times out of 10, obviously, wherever you got people, you've always got, issues. I'm not saying no issues will arise, but typically these families, they usually have like young kids. They want to get settled down, and as well, they could be in the property from anything from a few months to a few years. So what that means is you've now got an asset where you've got the same tenant. You've not got guests checking in and out. You've not got tenants. It's not like a HMO where you've got people coming in and out. You've got people arguing over who stole my ham in the fridge. Like,
Yeah.
there is no like regulations where you're going to put fire doors and you're going to put all this in. It's just, you get an apartment, you get paid every single month, and the only time the tenant contacts you is if there's any sort of maintenance to do with the property, which again, you can outsource that to a maintenance company for a very small fee, which is what we do. And it's fairly passive. It's as passive as it can be, basically.
Okay. I want to ask you a very, very direct question now. So if you had to choose one strategy out of the 4 we mentioned, which one would you choose and why?
Well, it's hands down temporary accommodation.
So rent-to-rent temporary accommodation.
Yeah. The reason why is because it's guaranteed, because it's paid by the council, so it's government backed, and also it solves a huge problem. That's the second thing. And number 3, it provides me financial stability because it's the same every single month. It's long term. And lastly, it's fairly passive. It's not 100% passive. I mean, sometimes you might get a call and you have to make one phone call. But that takes like 5 minutes.
I'd even argue to say that you can make it passive if you have the right systems and people. And team
exactly.
there.
Exactly. And that's exactly like we started to obviously teach this now because there is a huge demand. And one of the things that we teach is get a virtual assistant. So that them phone calls are not coming to you, it goes to your virtual assistant, and people can manage this, and it's passive for you. You can make it fairly passive, where essentially you're just managing and overseeing the business, but you're not working in the business. And that's one of the things that I realized my business started to expand, where I took myself out of it. I was able to look at things from a bird's eye point of view. And then I'm able to work on the business, manage the team, coach the team, empower the team, ensure that they're good to do their job, and then I can then focus on the vision and the direction and steer the company.
Okay, so with rent-to-rent temporary accommodation, that's the strategy that you would choose out of the 4 if you had to just choose one strategy out of those 4. And you said why. You did mention you can get an occasional call. What would that call look like, just for clarity?
It could be like, the washing machine's not working, or the fridge is not working, or it could be like the boiler stopped working. But again, we have a maintenance company that we outsource to. So in fact, one of the things that we do with temporary accommodation, because you've only got one family in the property, which is great. What that means is it's the same family, so you can nominate one person, like one of the adults in that household, to be on the account for that property. So if they have an issue with the gas, the boiler, the electrics, or they have a leaky tap or a leak or whatever it is, they don't even need to call you. They can call that person directly, and if they need the assistance, they can call the VA on hand. But they can call the person directly, the maintenance company, and they'll get it all boxed off, and that's what the service that you pay for.
So with rent-to-rent temporary accommodation, would you say that typically you will have to cover the maintenance, or does it just depend on like the council?
So with all temporary accommodation deals, you have to cover the maintenance.
Okay, cool.
All the maintenance, and you can find lots of companies that are fairly cheap. A company that I would recommend, actually, if you want to find trade, like individual trades, is checkertrade.com. It's like that, everyone knows that. It's just a huge company, and they have like verified reviews as well. So if you want to, if it's an area that you're not used to, and you need to find a gas engineer quickly, you can check on there, and then you can get someone to come out. That's only for an emergency. I would only use that for an emergency. What I would highly recommend is using like an emergency cover service that can actually cover the maintenance.
So a company that will cover the maintenance. Cool. The tenant will have their number as well, like you mentioned. Okay, cool. So any tips for scaling for people? Maybe they've got a few deals already. Any things they can implement or do that have helped you to scale up that they could also do?
First one is leverage. So you want to get yourself a VA. You want to have multiple councils. Don't just work with one council and think everything's all good, because things like I said in business, things change very quickly. The market is changing. Things change very quickly. So you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. That's the first tip I'd give you. The second tip I would say is when it comes to properties, a very crucial thing about scaling is being proactive. People that are proactive win the game. So what that means is get from behind the laptop, get from behind the phones, actually get in front of people.
Yeah.
It's much easier to sell when you're in front of someone as opposed to, you know, trying to do the easy way, trying to take the easy route from being behind your phone. So for me, and the way I win every time is I'm so proactive. I will get in front of people. I will go. I will visit wherever I need to visit.
Yeah.
I will make the trip, and I'll get in front of people. And I will literally build that relationship. Property is a relationship game, and that's how I've been able to sort of build great relationship with agents, close agents, and get lots of deals from them as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Honestly, Shaun, you dropped so much game on us today. I know you've helped a lot of people today. And obviously, we run the High Performance Academy together.
Yeah.
I thought today would be great to hear your story, to really like try and pick your brain on the process, the journey, because I don't think you've done this before on your channel.
Yeah.
So hopefully you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, man, it was good. Yeah, really good. So hopefully, you know, people get value, because I think it's really important for people to understand like where I'm coming from. Like, it's easy to look at people and see where they are now, but it helps you to resonate with where they are. And sometimes, you know, people might be where I was, and they're like, you know what, use me as a case study. Like, I started off with nothing. I had 0 handouts. I've had 0 help. Yes, I've had help, but I've paid people to help me. I haven't had like, no one's given me, say, oh, Shaun, here's a pot of money, just go and crack on, or no one's worked for free for me. And I just did it. Zero victim mentality as well. So anyone can do it if you've got the willingness to work, you've got the ambition, and you're willing to remain a student as well.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. So obviously, just to kind of summarize and wrap things up, we do have the High Performance Academy, which we have a 12-month training and mentorship program, where we teach people how to start, scale, and grow their property businesses through social housing and temporary accommodation, doing all of these strategies that we spoke about today. And if people want to get involved in that, they want to find out more, they can click on the link in the description of this video and jump on a call with our team. Our team will speak to them, see if it's the right fit for them.
100%.
And if it is, then they'll be seeing me and you a lot, because we'll be their mentors.
100%.
And helping them get deals over the line, analysing deals, helping them with any obstacle they're coming across. And we've got a lot of students now that are killing it, making over 10 grand a month. You mentioned Sandu, he's leaving his job. He's just left his job?
He's left his job already.
Wow.
I
didn't even know that, you know.
It was a big thing, because he really hated his job. He was lorry driving and working.
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, working a lot of nights, and it's quite tiring. You know, working those nights, and he just didn't really like it. He wasn't really. He didn't feel empowered doing that job. So now he's left his job, but you know, I'm excited for the future, especially the new service that we're offering as well. The Done For You service.
The Done For You service.
It's going to be a game changer, because people want to get involved. They might have the capital, but they don't necessarily have the time. So what I love about the Done For You service, it's just a business in a box.
I mean, it comes at a price. Don't get me wrong, but if people want to literally do nothing, they can pay.
Exactly.
And we'll literally build the business for them.
And that's the crazy thing. Like, we've got now, because we've done it so many times over and over again. Not only have we done it ourselves, we've also taught it. So we've got proof of concept. So we've got the connections, we've got the contacts, we've got the contacts in the council. We've got lots of portfolio landlords. So we've literally got everything ready to go. But we can't take on all the deals ourselves. It's impossible. It's just too much going on. So why not create an opportunity where we can, you know, give people the opportunity to have to literally buy income, essentially.
And you know what? Me and you are big students ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Like we always keep a student mindset.
Yeah.
We're always trying to improve, always trying to get better. We're both obsessed with self-development. That's probably one of the reasons why we get on really well. Because we're both in that similar mindsets. And it's good. I'm excited as well. We've got, I think we had a deal today. One of our students, he did a video with you yesterday where he was kind of picking his brain about his journey. Tell us about his deal. I think it was £9,600 incentive.
That's it. So he's making £900 a month, and then he got paid £9,600 as an incentive. So
that's profit? £900 profit.
£900 profit per month. So what certain councils are doing now is they're actually offering incentives. So what happens is you've got certain councils that are doing temporary accommodation. Certain councils are moving away from the nightly rates that you have in temporary accommodation and doing a different form. They're putting people on ASTs, which is like a longer form. But because they're on ASTs, they're giving you an incentive up front to incentivize you to go ahead with this strategy. Because, and here's the thing, one more tip I'd give on temporary accommodation. A lot of councils make changes, they make cuts, and they might have new leadership structures in place. But the thing that never changes, one thing that never changes, is the tenant. The people are still there. So even if you call a council and the council are like, yeah, we don't do nightly rates no more, we've changed, or maybe we're overspending or whatever. The best thing that to ask that council is, okay, well, what's happening with all the tenants? Where all the tenants do? Where are you putting those tenants? Because they have to put them somewhere. So all the councils do is they'll create different schemes. They'll put different processes in place and different opportunities for landlords to get involved. And a lot of councils are doing the AST model, and that's what Deal's done now. It's absolutely smashed it. And what was crazy was saying that, for the council said to him, oh yeah, we do you a deal like for the first 15 or 20 properties. So that's just big. They're thinking big. So he's thinking, wow, 15 or 20 properties. I've just made £900 a month plus £9,000 up front.
He smashed it, man.
Yeah. So it won't be long. He's on about getting to 10 properties before the end of next month.
And he said to me he wants to get to 30 by the end of the year. 30
and
properties.
He will do it. So one thing I forgot to mention as well, he's actually closed 3 deals now.
Wow. But he's only been with us for what? 30 days, less than 30 days?
Yeah, less than 30 days. He's done 3 deals, and you know what's crazy? He's only putting in a few £100 a time to the deal.
Because he's getting these fat incentives.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, ultimately, there's money to be made on this strategy, and also imagine the feeling of like actually helping a family. I'm not in temporary accommodation. All of mine are obviously, half of my portfolio at least to social housing providers. The other half are working professionals. Working professional ones are headaches, man. And if I could take back time, I would have got into social housing earlier. Much sooner. But it's all God's plan. And, some of them are switching over now. So yeah, it's good, man. But yeah, Shaun, how can people find you?
On Instagram. Obviously, if you're watching this video would also be in my YouTube channel as well. So make sure you subscribe. And then Instagram is @_Shaun_Davis. So you can get me on there as well.
Nice. And yeah, we'll put some other links in the bio. Obviously, if you want to speak with us, you can using these links. And Shaun, we'll have to do this again, man. This was good.
100%.
I enjoyed today's conversation.
Yeah.
So nice one.
Yeah, man.